Hi, everybody. And I really apologize. I am late quite a bit here. The previous meeting ran way over. And just getting over here to this beautiful site in Austin, Texas, took a few minutes. So apologies for that. Thank you so much for joining us. I have to say, this is a really rare treat for me. We have, for the first time, someone who has reversed her cognitive decline, walking from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. Judy, many people are very familiar with Judy. Congratulations, you have just passed the halfway point. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good feeling.
So you have now walked how many miles?
I have walked 1,500 and about 45 miles. 1,500.
Wow, that is
And
fantastic.
3,000 was the total goal. So
And
less than 1,500 to go.
Yeah. And how's your cognition doing?
My cognition has never been better, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that is just so remarkable to hear. We hear so much about, even the recent study on lifestyle, which, by the way, was for people with no cognitive complaints, not SCI or MCI or dementia, showing that they could get some improvement in their cognition. But to have reversal of cognitive decline, which many people claim is impossible, you are the first, which is fantastic. Now, 13 years into this, you and I met April of 2012, right?
Oh, that's right.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. Tell me a little bit about just how did you even conceive of this idea that, oh, hey, I'm going to walk across. No doctor would say, why don't you walk across the United States? How did you conceive of that?
Well, certainly no doctor told me that. I think they probably would have said the opposite, that then, what, 81-year-old, has done such a thing. I had the idea of it, though, because I wanted to really do something that would be different, that I could call attention to the fact that, hey, there is a way. You don't have to sit around and do nothing because of your age, and if you have cognitive decline, even more importantly, there are things you can do. And because I followed your protocol from the very beginning, and I have been pretty compliant with it, and I continue to follow it. And the proof is in the fact that I can do this, that it's not just the walking. I think it's everything. It's posture, it's good sleep, not having any aches or pains. I'm reluctant to brag about something like that because one never wants to do that with health because you never know.
Right.
But I can really truly say how grateful I am that I've followed it and it's worked. And I thought the walk would give me an opportunity to speak to people, and I'm just getting such a fabulous response. I mean, everyone, when they say, well, what are you doing? And I've got cards that I hand out that give, the website and tell what I'm doing. And they just say, first of all, their disbelief that my age, first of all, and secondly, that I'm doing it. And then when I start talking about the fact that it is, cognition can be reversed if you do the right thing and if you start soon enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important point that you've spoken about a lot, that you really can't wait until it's too late. But the people are just wonderful, and they immediately start talking about a member of their family or their friends who have. So it's pervasive and very common, and it's really, we need to call attention to the fact that there are survivors. I'm not the only one.
Yes, many at this point.
We have to wake up and realize that it is possible.
Absolutely. And as we talk about, it's get in early, preferably in prevention. If you're 35 or over, please get what we call a brain scan, which has p-tau 217, GFAP, and NFL. Simple blood test. I had it done myself at my kitchen table a few months ago. Great to know that everything's okay. And I know you've got one coming up.
I did.
At some point, you did it? You got it. Okay, good. But you haven't got the results back yet, right?
Results, but I do have the puncture marks from the
awesome. Okay.
blood draw.
Something we should all know if we're 35 or over. And, you can get it every 5 years and see if you're headed in that direction. For people who start at the time of SCI, subjective cognitive impairment, which is the second piece after asymptomatic, virtually 100% of those people improve markedly. So you don't want to wait too late. As you said, for the people who are starting when they're all the way into the dementia phase, much harder. It tends to be a less complete recovery. So it's important. And of course, your one of the people who has had long-term sustained improvement, and we just published the first paper on sustained improvement just a few months ago. We've seen people for over a decade and counting, so we'll see. But I want to mention something really special because I think this is so cool. So yesterday, you met with the mayor of Austin, is that correct?
Well, I met with his assistant because the mayor was actually out of
Oh,
town
he was out,
yesterday,
okay.
but he had written this and signed it and decided to do proclamation of Judy Benjamin Day,
Right, so
which
this
is
is,
yesterday.
yeah, so yesterday in Austin, Texas, as proclaimed and signed by the mayor, was Dr. Judy Benjamin Day. Congratulations, that is fantastic. Yeah, so cool to have a day named for you. That is very cool. So congratulations.
You.
That's such a wonderful honor.
It is a wonderful honor, and I can't wait to get it framed properly. And it was just such a wonderful gesture to be recognized for for the effort that I'm
Yes,
doing.
and you
I
are,
think that's was just fantastic.
so often we hear the opposite from people. They literally try to kind of crush people. Like, no, there's nothing that can be done. There's nothing to be done. So don't even worry about it. Don't even think about it. Just go on a cruise, that sort of thing. And you are living proof, along with now many, many other people, that cognitive decline can be reversed. As you said, the earlier the better and the more complete. But this is not something that's hopeless anymore. And this is a message that people need to know and that is not yet part of mainstream medicine. So you're really helping to spread the word to people all over the country. And now, where is your next big stop after Austin?
Well, I have quite a few smaller towns on the way as I go and finish up the walk across Texas. I really feel like I've been in Texas all my life.
Yeah.
It's a big state, but it's a wonderful state, and I met so many fantastic people. And I met my first Texas coral snake today,
Oh,
alive.
wow.
So I can say yes, I've seen the famous Texas coral snake. It ran the other way, thank goodness. But I will be going from through Texas. Beaumont, Texas will be probably the last larger town
Right.
in Texas, and then I'll head down to New Orleans.
Wow.
And then once I'm in New Orleans, I'm kind of making a straight run across toward Florida and St. Augustine. I'll be Mobile, Alabama, and the Pensacola and the
Right.
Panhandle of Florida. And yeah, I'm super excited about that part. It's just been wonderful to see the terrain change. I mean, I was in the desert for a very long
Right.
time,
Right.
and the desert is so beautiful and so interesting that it could be so hot during the day, and then at night, you're cold. You
Yeah.
your sleeping bag if you're sleeping outside, and then to come to the hills country and in Texas, and sadly, because of the horrible floods and everything in
Yeah.
the area, we were really scheduled. My route took me into Kerr and right in the area where the horrible floods occurred. The road was closed. I stopped in one of the sheriff's offices to ask to verify, and he said, "Well, you better go. The river's up like 13 feet, and you should go
Whoa.
another way." So I deviated a little bit from my course and kind of skipped over that, not wanting to get in the way of what they were doing there anyway with the cleanup. But it's just been great from tiny, tiny towns to Austin, Texas, which of course is a beautiful place and very, very interesting. I
Such
loved
a
it.
beautiful city. Yeah. So what's been the toughest thing so far?
I think the toughest thing has really been being aware of the traffic coming at me. I do walk facing the traffic, which is the safest way. And I had this idea when I first started that, oh, I'll be on these country roads and it'll be idyllic and there'll be a few cars or a few tractors. But no, we're in a really busy country and there's a lot of traffic and a lot of
Right.
large truck traffic.
Ooh.
So I can't say that that hasn't been a concern because in some of the roads there's just a tiny shoulder. There's not very much room, and it talk about brain quality of my brain working.
Yeah.
I not only had to keep an eye and make eye contact with drivers, but also to watch my feet where I'm going, not stepping on broken glass, which sadly, hey, folks out there, stop throwing things out of the window of the
Yeah.
car. because the bottles break and then people end up stepping on them. So I didn't have any of that problem as far as stepping on glass, but the alertness and the awareness was there. And I kind of made games out of it. You know, how many different items have I seen on the side of the road, and kind of doing the memory trick of backwards and forwards, and how many, if I imagined a house in a room, I could place all those items, and then I go back and try to memorize and remember them. So that was my brain HQ, my brain game.
Yeah, good. It's good to challenge your memories.
The just traffic, because otherwise the walking has not been that hard, really.
Wow, which is amazing. I mean, so many people would have hip problems or knee problems or blister problems or problems with sun. Now, what have you done as far as sun exposure? Has that been a problem?
Sun is always a problem, especially because I have naturally fair skin. I use a lot of sunscreen, and I have an umbrella that sometimes I have a big hat also, and sunglasses, lots of sunscreen. And I will, if it's not too windy, I'll actually carry my umbrella because that gives a little bit more shade. And longer sleeves, a lightweight cotton with longer sleeves. And really just trying to cover up, you know, as much as possible, and do all that. But as far as sore hips or knees or anything, I mean, I'm blessed with so far. I have not had any. I haven't been sore for one day, which has surprised me actually.
It's amazing. And then, of course, people would say, well, look, this is going to have to be a lot of stress. So your HRV must be horrible. You must be getting lousy sleep. But you're tracking these things. And talk a little bit about what you're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I have an Aura ring that I've used for several years actually, and I also have an iWatch. So I'm able to track it. And what I've noticed is the HRV is higher than it's ever been. My quality of my deep sleep and REM sleep is very good, light sleep, and my oxygenation, of course, you know, I'm breathing because my heart rate basically is elevated during the day because I'm moving, I'm exercising. And I've been walking, when I first started, I walked about 8 hours a day. And then after a month, I think, it would go up to 9 hours. And now that we have daylight until quite late, I sometimes walk until 8 or 8:30 at night.
Wow.
And I mean, I have to sort of stop myself because, you know, I've already walked, you know, 10, 12, 11 hours. And the only problem with that is that I try to have intermittent fasting, and I don't want to eat my dinner and then go right to bed.
Right.
So that's been a challenge, to be honest, because when I'm at home, I observe that 3 hour period of time. So I don't want to eat and go right to bed because that affects my brain functioning and everything, my HRV. But that's just something I have to work around. It's not a work around because I am ready to go to bed by the time I stop walking.
I'll bet. So that's the interesting thing. You're doing something that's got all this exercise all day, and yet your biological parameters are better than they were before, where you've got better HRV, better sleeping, which is really that's just great to see. And what are you doing for food during all this long travel?
Great question, because you know sometimes for people who are not aware of it, haven't spent a lot of time on the road, there are vast areas in this country where there is not a grocery store or a farmer's market. Nothing. I mean, maybe you buy your groceries at the local gas station, but I remember we had 89 miles, not even a gas station. So if you're in a car, 89 miles is nothing. But if you're on foot, you know, that's 90 miles. That's a long time. I'm walking about 18 to 20 miles per day, which is pretty good, actually. Yeah. But still, you know, so you've got to stock up. I have a refrigerator in the RV. That's my support RV. And luckily, one of my sponsors is Trifecta, and they are a home delivery service food, healthy food. You can select your menus and get, you know, vegetarian or vegan or meat, whatever. And we've arranged to have those delivered once a week. It's a little tricky knowing where you're going to be a week from now because you have to spot that and give the address, but it's worked out very well so far. And we've got the meals, a good variety of meals, and that's like the main, let's say, dinner, lunch and dinner, and then I can do breakfast. You know, I make my own breakfast. I eat a lot of peanut butter, a lot of nuts, organic. All that stuff is organic, but I try to eat more calories because I have lost a little weight.
Yeah.
I weighed yesterday when I did have a blood draw yesterday for my annual tests, and I think I weighed 96 pounds, just
Okay.
under 96 pounds, and I'm not very tall, but I normally would weigh about 8 or 9 pounds more than that. So that's about, I'm burning more calories than I can take in.
Right. So yeah, you need to keep
Yeah.
those up. Okay. Well, now I remember in San Diego, we were all together, Lance and you and I, and you had an entourage of about what, 10 or 12 of us,
Yes, it
all
was great.
starting out.
Yeah.
And that was in April, correct?
April 5th.
5th, that's what I thought. So basically you have been, you've been exactly 4 months now.
Yes.
Yeah.
4 months.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then that was great. It was such a great send off. And it worked out. I didn't know exactly that I would be here halfway mark, but it just worked out.
It really worked out
Yeah.
perfectly. Yeah. So congratulations. Incredible. And are you thinking 4 more months to finish it, or what are your, what's on your mind at the moment?
I'm thinking that since it took me 4 months to get this far, and I've got about half as much, I'm estimating that. But given the fact that it will be hurricane season and tornadoes, and I'm a total chicken when it comes to lightning. I don't want to be on the road
Good.
with lightning. So if it may slow me down, and then again, there's a lot of flat area too, and I've gone through a lot of where it's been up and down and hills, and so we'll see. I'm still guessing like another 4 months.
Yeah. So a number of people have asked about heat. This is a hot time of year. You're going through a relatively southern latitude here as you're going across. Has heat been a problem for you?
I think I've done pretty well with the heat, especially the dry heat in the desert. The humidity is a little harder. People have always said it's not the heat, it's the humidity, and I understand why they say that now. But it just means that I perspire a lot more, so I lose a lot more water, and it means I have to take my, supplements to make sure that I don't dehydrate and make sure that I'm drinking water. I carry a lot of water with me, and I come back to my support vehicle to fill up again a few times during the day so that I'm never without water. And I tend to crave a little bit of salty things because I think I'm perspiring. But I do have electrolytes again from another sponsor from UCAN. They very nicely furnished cans of electrolytes. So I mix that into my water, and I think I'm doing pretty well with that. I did a sauna, and I have saunas at home. I have a sauna, and I believe in saunas. I think it's one of the best things that you can do to stay detox and to stay healthy. So I normally would take a sauna every single morning for 30 minutes, and the temperature would be either 140 to 150 degrees.
Whoa, yeah.
So I'm used to that kind of heat, and I think that I really think it prepared me for the heat because I'm not as affected by it as I thought I would.
Wow.
So I'm dealing with it, and I know the symptoms of heat exhaustion. So if I start getting a little crazy in the head, then I know, okay, I need to have some hydration and I need to get in the shade.
Yeah.
So I'll cool down.
And how do people know when you're going to these various places? How do you meet people? How do people know that, oh yeah, the person who's walking across the United States and reversing her cognitive decline is coming? How do people meet you?
Well, I wish I could have a little bit more efficient way of letting people know, but they see my support vehicle has placards on the side that shows my route and my website, judywalks.com if anybody wants to look at it and you can see where I am and what I'm doing. And then we do updates. We do weekly episodes and social media posts. But mostly people just see me on the road and they'll stop and they'll turn around and come back. And the first thing they want to know is, do I need a lift?
Yeah.
And do I need some water?
Okay.
And then after that, wow, I can't believe that you're doing it. And I'll give them the card and tell them about it. So that's really the way. And I talk it up every time if I happen to be staying at a hotel, which I do sometimes. I'll talk it up and leave cards around the table. And it's amazing how incredibly supportive people are.
And people, need to know that there are survivors out there. And you have started a nonprofit foundation, Alzheimer's Survivor Foundation. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the foundation is on it's in its baby steps. It's just started. We're working on getting the website developed and going, but this really follows on the walk. And the idea of the walk is I'm doing the walk to let people know that survivors are out there. But when my walk is finished, I don't want that message to drop. I want it to go on, and I want to collect the number of people, get their stories and let them talk as well. And we've already started to gather those people up because they're out there, as you well know, who followed your protocol. And we need to let people know, because that's when they'll believe, oh, it's not just one person. It's not just patient zero, because the doubters will say, oh, that's just a one-off kind of case. But with numbers, like any other movement that's happened, whether it was the civil rights or the women's movement, it's about numbers. It's about really people seeing. So the website is going to make a difference. Alzheimer's Survivors Foundation, and getting it going. I have some wonderful people that are really helping and supporting it. And we'll look forward to getting that really going.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful to your many wonderful sponsors like Apollo Health, like UCAN, like Trifecta, like GenWorks, all of these that are
Zero Shoes,
that are all helping to get you across the country, which is
absolutely.
Really
I couldn't have done it certainly not without the support and help that I've gotten. Yeah.
Well, I am just so blown away as always by you continue to amaze me from day one back in April of 2012. And here you are more than halfway, a little bit more than halfway across the country. And I look forward to seeing you in Florida in the future, when you're finishing up your journey, which is really exciting. Please stay as far away from the road as you can. I always worry about crazy drivers that are not staying where they should be in their lane. So please be careful. But you're looking great. And you're looking healthy, and you're sounding good, and it's just so great to see what you're doing.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you inviting me to do this. It's wonderful, because you're my hero. And honestly, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If it were not for you, for me meeting you 13 years ago and listening to you talk about your theory and how it worked, and my willingness to really say, I'm going to do this, and that's what it really takes, is commitment and compliance. You've got to be willing to be committed to it. And I was, and I'm just eternally grateful. I would not be sitting here and talking now. I would likely be in a home or be dead by now. So I am eternally grateful, and I want to spread the message. I want other people to know that this is available to them.
Yeah, I just really want to see this reduction in the global burden of dementia. The reality is, with what we all know now, very few people should get this problem. And starting early, getting on prevention or earliest treatment, it really can help so much. And you're living proof of that. So thank you. Someone's got to go out there and do the hard work, and you've been doing it. So it's really great to see it.
Well, I think there are a lot of good things coming from it, and I'm just delighted that I'm able to do it. And I'm going to just keep trudging one step at a time.
Yeah, I really hope that ultimately everybody will realize this is no longer something that is inevitable. This is something that we can all prevent and treat as well. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Judy. Great to see you as always. Congratulations once again. Congratulations on your day, your Dr. Judy Benjamin Day. This is such a wonderful honor, and we look forward to seeing you down